all your commercial needs. We'll see you later on today.
We are broadcasting live from the Woodlands, Texas to the world. You're listening to the only multimedia FM station in Houston, Texas. Your Fusion Radio. Top 40s, dance, Latin, country, pop, rock and roll. All in one station. Mixing genres and generations. You're listening to KNLY New Waverly, Texas. 91.1 FM, The Boss.
The program presented are submitted by members of our community and are a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM. The views expressed do not necessarily reflect those of KNLY 91.1 FM and its affiliates.
Hey, welcome to the Woodlands Prime Lending Show. It's me, Sidney Young, your host, WoodlandsPrimeLending.com. All your commercial loan needs. Woodlands Prime Lending Show at WoodlandsPrimeLending.com. Check this out. They say there's only two things in life that really actually happen. Everything else just fake. Taxes and death. If you're listening to me and seeing me, you're not dead. So guess what you got to deal with? Taxes, because you ain't dead, Fred. All right? Taxes. Hey, check this. We're going to jump straight. There's so much information here. It's incredible. Now, I want to talk, before I bring this gentleman on, I got to talk about him. I found him by accident. I'm riding down the road, and I look over, and I see this catchy phrase on a sign. A little bit old sign, too. He needs to blow that thing up like 10 foot by 20 feet, flashing sign, fireworks coming out of it. It says, notaxdue.com. I said, notaxdue.com? How can you erase taxes? I said, this is pretty cool. So I went in there to talk to him and talk to his receptionist. Jake came out. Jake Latimer with Latimer & Latimer, notaxdue.com. Jake!
Hey, Sidney. How are you doing today?
Man, well, I'm energetic, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You are. I appreciate the opportunity to come on your show and talk taxes, business, entrepreneurship, anything you want to talk about.
Jake, I got it. Well, we're going to get into taxes. But
sure. Let's
start out with, how did you get into this tax world?
A little bit about my background, multifaceted, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I have 5 college degrees, master's in taxation. Yeah, master's in taxation, MBA in finance and accounting, business information.
You and me, Carl, seem so inadequate.
Yes, sir. A bachelor's in business information system, as well as 2 associate degrees. Currently working on my doctorate in finance, and I'll graduate at the end of next year.
And you've been to Harvard.
I did.
Oh.
I just got back, not probably a couple months ago, because there were over 10 years between my master's and my doctorate.
Yeah.
They required me to take some additional graduate level classes, master's level classes. For just on a whim, I decided to apply to Harvard. I got in. Took the majority of the work online.
Most of us say for a whim, I think we'll take the day and drive to Galveston. Not Jake. He's going to go to Harvard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just got to know who I am as an individual.
Yeah.
I applied. I got in. Completed my course. Had to fly up there and do my intensive. Just got back from that. Scored the highest score in the class.
Wow. And got to catch an Astros game.
I did actually. We were able to go see the Boston Red Sox versus the Houston Astros.
Wow.
Very close up front seat. It was a kind of a bucket list item for me. So it was fantastic.
Oh,
absolutely.
Man. You know, Jake, you guys now, and that's just it. NoTaxDue.com, and I said, they're a new company. Guess what? Jake's been doing this for 12 years.
Absolutely. And so a little bit about my background. I've worked for a number of CPA firms in the Houston area. What I would have that would come to me is a lot of my clients would come to me and say, you know what, Jake, you work at these bigger firms. We can't really pay your hourly rate. Mm-hmm. Would you consider doing some work on the side? And most people say, well, that's a conflict of interest, but it really wasn't. And I'll tell you why, because I actually went to the partners out of respect and said, hey, I've got a few clients on the side. Would you find it offensive if I did some work on the side? And the two firms that I approached them on, they both said, no, it's not an issue. They would never be a client of ours, so no problem.
Okay.
And slowly we just did the right things. And eventually I became the senior tax director for Total Petrochemicals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was there for right around 2 years.
Honestly,
Honestly,
you still doing side work at the time?
I was still doing side work, absolutely. And so at that time I was married and we were expecting our firstborn. And to be honest with you, I was just kind of burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
And I think I was getting maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and something had to give.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I looked at purchasing a CPA firm that was actually, at that time, it was actually out in Alvin, Texas, performed the due diligence. It actually failed.
Oh.
But I had come so far, and I was just ready to kind of make that leap of faith, if you will.
Jump into the entrepreneur world.
Absolutely, and do it full time. I did it, put God first in everything that I do.
Right.
And honestly, I just did right by the right people, and I've never looked back.
Is that when you created NoTax2.com?
It is, absolutely.
That is, I just love that. You know, and let's talk about something real quickly that I was not aware of. When people hear NoTax2.com, they come to you, run to your door, say, "Help me out! I don't want to pay taxes." What do you tell them? What do you explain to them?
So that's just, honestly, it's just really a catchy phrase, to be honest with you, first and foremost. But really where our niche is and where our specialty is has always been in small and mid-sized businesses. And what I mean by that is if you have an LLC, a corporation, a partnership, annually you have to file what they call your franchise tax reports. Okay, if you have less than $1,130,000 a year, you file
$1,130,000.
$1,130,000 a year. Absolutely, yes, sir. You pay no tax due. It's a no tax due report. It's actually what it's called by the Texas Franchise Division. So I thought, from a kind of a clever marketing perspective, and I'll be honest with you, I'm terrible at marketing. I think when you and I were talking right before the show aired, I would be the first one to tell you I'm absolutely horrible with it.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be something that was kind of clever, and I've done a really poor job at marketing it.
Yeah.
But I purchased the domain. It became mine, and I said, you know what? I don't want to put Latimer accounting or something. Like, no one knows what that means at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Okay? No one knows if we're a doctor's office, if we're an accounting firm,
Could
if
be
we're
a dental
a consultant.
office,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But the word that's tax in there, it's kind of clever, if you will. And so really that's what the driving force honestly was.
He got me to walk to your door. NoTax2.com.
Thank you.
I love the catchy phrase. I love what you guys do. But let's now, I owned a franchise several years ago. I did not know what you just said. And you know how many thousands and thousands of franchise owners out there don't know what you just said?
I believe that. And I think our government as a whole does a poor job at disseminating that information.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, we had an entrepreneur, another business owner come into our office, was a referral, and honestly, like I alluded to earlier, I'm really terrible at marketing. 95% or above of our business.
12 years of business and terrible at marketing.
I am. I would not be the guy to follow when it comes to marketing. I'd be the
right,
first. Yeah, we are. But honestly, what that is we just do right by the right people.
Yeah.
And so everything else takes care of itself. If you put God first and you do the right things, I tell you what, He'll guide you and He'll put the right people in your life.
I like that.
And honestly, I also believe in the five people you hang out with the most ultimately becomes who you are as an individual.
The 5 people.
The 5 people that you surround yourself the most with.
I like that.
And so if you surround yourself with like-minded individuals that have the same goals in life, they're going to give back to you. So you give to them, give, and I promise you they'll give back to you in this world. And so that's what we've always experienced.
That's a good lesson to learn right there. I'm going to put that on Facebook. I like that.
So that's kind of always how we predicated our business. We always want to do the right thing. Even if we lost money on a client, it really didn't matter because we wanted to foster the relationship. We've never been in the business. We want to touch 100 or 1,000 of the wrong people. We just want to touch 10 of the right people.
You know, Jake,
right
you talked about something, and I got to bring this up because it's so remarkable. You've been in business for 12 years.
Yes, sir.
You're like a boxer. Man, boom, boom, boom. You've never lost a round.
Not when it comes to audits. I mean, we represent a lot of
audits.
clients for sales and use tax audits, Texas franchise audits, TWC audits, federal audits. There's so many different examples. I mean, the one that you and I were talking about just a while ago.
And these are multi-million-dollar audits.
Absolutely. So probably one of our largest clients. I do a lot of CFO work for a large plumbing distribution company, probably the largest in the state of Texas. They do probably close to $250 million a year in revenue. They were flagged by a sales and use tax audit. I represented them for at least 16 months. That's how long the audit went on.
Wow.
The state initially assessed them that they owed over $1.9 million. When we were all said and done, they cut my client a check for $400,000, roughly $400,000.
They were going to owe
1.9, over 1.9, yes, sir.
and they ended up getting back $400,000.
Absolutely, yes, sir.
I'd have gave you a free trip to Disneyland.
We're obviously in good graces with them
Wow.
because we did the right thing by them. We took care of it and realized that part of that audit, before we took over that client as becoming one of our clients, so we had to basically kind of uncook what had been done by the previous CPA. There was a lot of mistakes, a lot of errors and omissions that had occurred. And then we had to kind of build our case in a manner that was going to make us successful in our division, how we
That is
represented
not
that.
just you. That's a team of your people, correct?
Absolutely. I couldn't be where I am without the
Yeah.
other 7 employees that work underneath me. I mean, we have
Wow.
fabulous individuals, anywhere from Jenny Ellison to Anna Cornine to Lorena Villarreal to Dana and Liz Pignon to Mindy Bear. I mean,
that's your team?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
Wow.
So we have a great team. And I really believe that you have to empower the individuals that are around you.
Yeah.
And honestly, we wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for them.
You know, we were sort of joking about this. The tax business, the audits and things, they're not like something that you want to deal with on a daily basis. You have a small business. You want to concentrate on the bottom line, getting customers in, making money, and then bam, you get that notice, audit. You go, oh my God. And your worry flag goes up, and the clock's ticking because you get closer to that date. That's when you call no tax. Now, what if someone's in that position? What do they need to do besides call you?
That's the first thing they need to do. Is as soon as you receive a notice or as soon as you have any inkling that you're going to be audited, we need to know as soon as possible. And so that means you need to first and foremost not communicate with them. It's kind of like if you get arrested by the police, you don't want to communicate, right?
Yeah.
You don't
take
want
the test.
You don't want to incriminate yourself,
Yeah.
honestly. Okay. So the first thing to do is they need to communicate with us. They need to send over whatever documentation that has alluded to there actually is going to be an audit. From there, we'll get a power of attorney executed, and we will represent them going forward.
So that means IRS deals directly with you guys.
Absolutely, 100%. We will not allow them to speak to an agent unless they are in our office without us present.
And these aren't the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 audits. These are like the commercial type audits.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we just had 2 TWC audits that we represented clients on. Those lasted about 2.5, 3 weeks, and both those ended up with no tax due as well.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
What do you think your specialty? What is it you're doing differently than other firms? The attention to detail?
Yeah, I would say that has a lot to do with it. I would also say it's how you kind of I would say knowledge has a lot to do with it. I would also kind of say is how you kind of formulate your appeal and how you're actually going to fight that. So what we have to do, we do a lot of intensive research, and so we'll cite Rev Procs, we'll cite from court cases to a myriad of different things to substantiate the position that we're actually going to take. We've had situations where there's been huge penalties for hundreds of thousands of dollars on a taxpayer. Literally, it's been nothing more than I do research for probably 6-7 hours, compose a letter, send it off, and the penalties get completely abated.
You know, you're talking about this process you go through. You're almost like a doctor. I mean, you've got to diagnose a situation.
Very much so.
Come up with a cure and then sew it back together.
Absolutely, Sydney. I mean, I would be the first one to tell you that there's no taxpayer or no case in this situation that is ever cookie cutter.
Yeah.
Everyone is completely unique.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're going to have to spend some time on it. You're going to have to give it the attention, and then you're going to have to you're going to have to guide your client on what documents that you need to represent and actually disclose, and which documents that you say, you know what, I'm not sure if we want to incriminate ourselves and disclose that information.
And you have the almost like an attorney,
Yeah,
there?
absolutely, yeah. No, that's exactly correct. And so we will absolutely, when we see the agent is trying to go down a pathway that we think that is probably not advantageous for our client,
Right.
we will actually try to steer them back on course And so unless the individual's knowledgeable enough and knows what they're doing, what will happen is, and that's what we always tell everybody, I don't care if it is a TWC audit, a sales and use tax, franchise, IRS audit, never represent yourself. I mean, first and foremost, what they're going to do, Sydney, let's be honest, they're going to bait you. You're going to say things that, because you don't know, and
Right.
you're not that you're trying to circumvent anything,
Right.
but you're going to say things that's going to incriminate you.
We don't have the same knowledge you've
Absolutely. And so
Yeah.
what's going to happen is it's going to open up
Yeah.
Pandora's box.
And then that road's going to lead to another road, lead to another. Next thing you know, you're like, whoa. And then you're
then the
into
audit-
it.
yeah.
Can you stop at that time? So I want to time out? Or is it too late?
No, that's it. And then, so what happens is if they find any errors and omissions, a lot of times what will happen, Sydney, is they are going to they're going to open up Pandora's box to make it greater than 1 year. So you'll see it go back 2 years, 3 years, ratcheted back.
Wow.
And then depending on, how egregious basically that they feel it is, they can go up indefinitely depending on if they think that fraud's occurred.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever had to tell a client, no, you're not going to represent them, you can't take on their case for various reasons?
I've never not represented a client. I've always kind of have a soft spot in my heart and for that, and I think maybe that's more of a personal
Even when
thing.
you see the train wreck, you say, man.
I always try to mitigate the risk, and so even though we've never really technically ever lost a case, we've always been able to mitigate a lot of the risk and reduce their tax liability and or penalties along the way. I mean, there's so many different incidents that we've had situations like that.
Wow.
Even from one of our clients that I do a lot of CFO work for. They're a U.S. subsidiary here in the United States. I've been with them for probably 7 years now, doing all CFO work as well. The CEO used to be the chief operating officer for National Oilwell Varco.
Oh, wow. Really?
And yes, sir. And
Huge.
and the parent company for the U.S. subsidiaries trade on the Shenzhen stock market out in China. And, he had been going back and forth for a couple years for an audit, and he came to me through a referral. And the first thing, he was a little trepidatious, saying, what can Jake do that Deloitte and Touche didn't do?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're not trying to say that we can do other things that other firms can't do,
Right.
per se. This situation was rather unique. He owed between $1 and $2 million, and I think we settled for around $300,000. It was all said and done.
pretty
So
good.
that's a win as far as I'm concerned.
That's a win, man. Put that on your belt. Jake
sir.
Latimer, NoTaxDo.com. We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to talk more about some of the stuff Jake can do for you. We'll be right back. CashmanBuysHouses.com. CashmanBuysHouses.com. You're facing pre-foreclosure. Maybe you've had a death in your family. Maybe the taxes are behind. Whatever the need is, if you need to sell your house, you need to sell it quick, CashmanBuysHouses.com. Go to our webpage. We buy houses nationwide. We've been featured on all the major media channels, outlets throughout the country. CashmanBuysHouses.com. We'll make you an offer today.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
For fresh flowers fast, call Barb's Iris Floral at 281-820-2294 with excellent customer service since 1983 for weddings, funeral services, sweet 15s, corporate events, and all occasions. For that special someone you love, BarbsIrisFloral.com and BarbsIrisFloralBoutique.com. Come on in and pick out of our prestigious gallery at 727 Westmont Houston Road, Houston, Texas 77038. Text 832-466-8414. Barb's Iris Floral delivers fresh flowers fast.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNY 91.1 FM.
There's a special place in the Woodlands where you can feel comfortable opening your business. We are located at 10210 Grogan's Mill Road. Our building has a unique Vedic architectural design with landscape grounds and lakeside views, on-site management, and maintenance. We also provide free Wi-Fi and the opportunity to promote your business on 91.1 FM The Boss. This wonderful location is near the Woodlands Mall, Market Street, and just minutes from Bush Intercontinental Airport. 10210 Grogan's Mill Road, the only social media building in the Woodlands. Don't delay. Schedule a tour today by calling 713-777-7368.
This message was from a proud sponsor to KNY 91.1 FM.
for any maintenance needs on your commercial or personal vehicle. EVG Loan Store Service specializes on European, Asian, and domestic vehicles. We can assist you with wheel alignments, tire balance, AC services, computer and electric diagnostic, and more. We're located at corner of 1230 Aldine Mail Route and Reeston Road in Houston 77039. Our phone number is 936-344-1672, or you can find us on our webpage www.evglss.com. EVG Lone Star. If it's got wheels, we can fix it.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
H-Town is the most culturally diverse city in America. H-Town Award's sole mission is to celebrate the great diversity of our city. Our artists, citizens, and philanthropists and businesses are second to none. H-Town is the best city in the world, and our people are the best people on earth. Join us in celebrating all musical genres and the diversity of our beautiful city. H-Town Award Show, November 2019. We'll see you there.
For more information, follow us on social media at H-Town Awards or send us an email at info@htownawards.com.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Xavier Academy is a full-service, accredited private school offering personalized curriculum and extraordinarily low student-to-teacher ratio. We emphasize academic success, personal growth, and social skills in a rich and stimulating environment. Xavier Academy The Woodlands offers summer school tutoring and credit recovery through the end of July. Our website, www.xavieracademy.org or 713-389-5545.
This was a proud sponsor of KNLY 91.1 FM.
Welcome back to WPL, Woodlands Prime Lending, woodlandsprimelending.com. My name's Sidney Young, your host, with Jake Latimer, NoTaxDo.com.
Thank you, Sidney.
Man, I just got to say that.
it is rather catchy. I really appreciate you bringing me in the office
that's
today.
a marketing genius. Now, Jake, we were talking about tax and things, but there's some new Trump tax laws. No, it doesn't say Trump doesn't have to pay taxes. It doesn't say that. But Jake is researching. Now, you guys, here's another thing. You already have tons of education to perform what you do. On top of that, these tax laws are changed, yearly? How often they change?
Honestly, every time you get a new president in office, obviously that's the biggest change that you actually see.
Okay.
With that being said, there can be adjustments to it on a yearly basis. Most of the laws that they set into place are very temporary in nature, and so they will expire after a certain date. So you have to stay up and.
How do you guys stay up to date on it?
A myriad of reasons. I'll be honest with you. Every year we have to have a certain amount of continued professional education that we have to take.
I see, okay.
But I'll be honest with you, if you just rely just on that, you're not going to be where you need to be.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I would even say, for a lot of even CPAs that are out there, most of them just have an undergrad degree, a bachelor's in accounting or something like that. Find someone that has, like myself, has a master's in taxation. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but reality is
that close to being the doctor's degree.
Absolutely, yeah. Next year I'll have my doctorate. Find someone that specializes in that specific field. If you have to have brain cancer, let's be honest, you're not going to your general practitioner, okay?
You don't want the guy be watching YouTube while he's, okay. You want an expert. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% agree. And so I'm kind of weird in that regard. So what I'll actually do sometimes is, I research things like you wouldn't believe. I'd probably do more research than anyone that you probably know.
Wow, okay.
I don't even care if it's researching while I'm in bed before I go to sleep at night and not watching TV or movies. I think that just comes kind of enthralled on who I am as an individual.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that someone's staying abreast and staying on top of what the new laws are, and it's constantly revolving. It really is.
Well, are some of the new laws that Trump, are they positive or negative in your opinion?
Honestly, there's some positive behind it. There's some negative behind it. One of the things I probably want to talk about, and there's been a lot of pushback is it just for the top 1%? And a lot of people, there's been a lot of rhetoric out there and people saying basically that I'm getting a smaller refund. And largely that's probably true. But let's talk about why that's true. So throughout the year, when you receive your every 2 weeks you get paid, and so after your withholding is taken out and you have your bring home, the tax aspect on that has actually been reduced, and so every pay period, every 2 weeks, you're actually taking home just a little incremental bit more, but over that 52 weeks, that amount adds up. Okay. So what'll happen is you're going to have less withholding, you might have less refund, but you actually took more home throughout the year. So if you were a good steward with your money, the reality is you'd be able to invest that, have a greater gain. And so the general sense is most individuals, yes, the answer is they are getting more back. It's throughout the year, not just on a refund check. I mean, ideally, most taxpayers should never want this huge refund because if
I was going to say that is such a huge myth. Oh, I'm getting a huge tax refund. No, you're not. You overpaid.
You overpaid it, and now the government's been able to collect interest off of your money, whereas you could have invested that throughout the year.
Yeah,
but the problem is people are poor at cash flow. And people are poor at investing and being responsible.
Right.
And if they were just a better steward on those things, there wouldn't be an issue. Now, one of the areas that really kind of does perturb me, and I think it's really going to affect the housing market, I don't really kind of want to go off on that era, but I believe as interest rates continue to ratchet up, what Trump did is he kind of put a limit on the total sales tax and property taxes that you can actually deduct on Schedule A, assuming that you're itemizing. And that cap is actually $10,000. Whereas historically it never was the case. And so if you think about it, that's really not for the top 1%. It's very easy to have $6,000, $7,000 in property taxes, plus you get to take the sales tax deduction, plus any personal property taxes. So it's very easy to exceed that $10,000.
Right.
And what we've seen a lot of individuals that might have $20,000, $30,000 in taxes on their Schedule A. Now it's been reduced to 10.
That's pretty good.
So, but one of the areas that I think is a little more beneficial is this. Charitable contributions years ago, depending on what your adjusted gross income was, what would happen is they would ratchet that number back, meaning that you had these provisions in place, basically, that if your AGI, your adjusted gross income, came up too high, you would have this little ratchet that would not give you the same full deduction.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so charitable contributions was one of those that would exceed for Schedule A itemized deductions. Not the case anymore. Not the case. If you make a donation for $10,000, $20,000, whatever, you're going to get that full deduction on that.
Oh, really?
So it actually is benefiting people now on that. But people aren't talking about that.
The radio station is a nonprofit.
Is it?
Not because I don't sell nothing, just because,
It's 501c3, basically. Yes, sir.
So people can sell nothing.
But people can make donations towards that.
That's correct.
And now, even if their AGI, let's just say $300,000-$400,000, there's not going to be a ratcheted provision.
And they get the full credit for what they put towards the nonprofit.
A deduction, yes.
Deduction.
Yes,
that is pretty cool, man. I like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's talk real quick about some of the negatives, in your opinion.
Some of the negatives. Let's see. It depends on where you're at on the spectrum. I mean, as an example, corporate tax law has now been reduced from 35% to 21%. So a lot of people are anti-corporations nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm completely opposite of that. I think that corporations and companies as a whole create jobs.
Absolutely.
And
pay our mortgage to them.
Absolutely, they do. And so a lot of people, this trickle-down economics aspect that people say that doesn't work because it didn't work under Reagan back in the day. I think it was a different economy back then. And so back then we were a very, if you do your research and your history on it, people were saving back then, whereas we're more of a consumption society today. And so I always say this: people make $1 and they're going to spend $1.15 now. Everybody's very leveraged nowadays, and you didn't see that back then under Reagan. Okay,
man, you go back 5-6 years ago, it wasn't like that.
No, not at all, not at all. I mean, we've really seen a paradigm shift on how the consumer operates nowadays. I mean, you probably look at a lot of restaurants around here. Restaurants are booming. And why is that? And that's really due to the fact that you have dual income families.
Yep.
Husband, wife, two significant others, whatever the situation is.
People are not working 40-hour weeks anymore.
Not anymore. No.
They don't want to cook when they get home.
They're exhausted.
It's more convenient.
You got it. Absolutely. And so you are seeing what they bring home circulated back in the economy today, whereas you didn't see it back under Reagan. So it's a different economy that we live in today.
Jake, let's talk about something here. Latimer & Latimer is the name of the company. NoTax2.com, the webpage. Don't even give you a phone number. You can just go to the webpage, NoTax2.com. But let's say they wanted to call you. How would they contact you?
So probably the best number is 281-288-0909. We have 7 in our staff there outside of myself. There's always a friendly face that will take the call.
There we go. If you're online right now and you watch this through on social media, Carlos just popped it up right here. It's actually here in the Woodlands, but you take business from everywhere.
All over, right. I'm an IRS enrolled agent, so I can work in all 50 states. I mean, as an example.
Let's plug it in quickly. What's IRS enrolled agent mean?
IRS enrolled agent means that you're bound under Circular 230 with the Internal Revenue Service. You took a very comprehensive exam, and so therefore you're able to work in all 50 states. If you were just a CPA for that respective state, you have to work under another CPA and file for reciprocity rules.
Okay.
I don't have to do that. I'm able to work in all 50 states. As an example, my business partner and I, we have a condo out in Durango, Colorado.
Yeah.
And we have quite a few clients out in the San Juan Basin area in Farmington, New Mexico, and I knew that, so I have a lot of clients in New Mexico, Colorado, California,
You can
all
take them
over.
in Hawaii, anywhere.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
This is really cool.
Yes, sir.
Jake Latimer, he's going to be back. I promise you. Jake will be back. Okay. When we start the morning show, I'm going to have him on the morning show. We got so much more to go over. This is such a small piece of the pie, so to speak. Jake Latimer, NoTaxDue.com, Latimer and Latimer. Incredible information today. Show this to your friends, your neighbors, your business. NoTaxDue.com. This has been the Woodlands Prime Lending Show. We'll see you tomorrow. No, we won't, will we? July 4th. We'll see you on Friday. Adios.
There's a special place in the Woodlands where